I'm just gonna jump right into it. So in the summer of 2014, right around my 15th birthday, I lost about 30 pounds. I was already a small girl, and so this was inarguably not a good thing. And I remember the day that I sat down on the couch and in my living room and told my mom that I thought I had anorexia. Many doctor's appointments followed until one day when I was told I should go to emergency because after measuring my vitals, my doctor didn't know how I was still standing. So I'm pretty sure all of you know where this was going. One hospital trip later, and I had myself a nice single room with a fancy bed and some beeping monitors, and hordes of nurses hovering over me like I could die at any moment. And I probably could have died at any moment given the circumstances. But I wanted to get up and fight all the nurses in some record-breaking battle royale instead. I was a seething 90-pound ball of rage stuck in a hospital bed, and I'm pretty sure that never-ending 2 weeks was pleasant for nobody. But all jokes aside, those were probably the worst 2 weeks of my life. Not only did I feel like everything was already my fault, that somehow I deserved it, but the slew of condescending nurses only heightened my feelings of shame. I'm not going to stand up here and lie to you either. Those feelings of it being my fault have never really gone away completely. The voices that nag at the back of my mind have become much quieter over the years, but I'm not entirely sure they will ever completely disappear. Now, back at the hospital, I was given the highly recommended option of joining their group counseling for outpatients or going to a private therapist instead. I chose the latter, and due to me being stuck in the hospital for an extra week, I ended up becoming Lindsay's first client. At first, I hated it. Well, back then I hated everything, but more importantly, I hated going to those appointments that I so desperately needed. I felt like I was fighting for everyone for control of my life, and I felt like I had always been fighting everyone for control of my life, but at that point I wanted it more than ever. You know, back at the hospital, one of the nurses had actually said to me that I would probably relapse just because it was so common, and I was terribly offended by that. And I think it was around then that I decided to get better purely out of spite, but it felt impossible. I was seeing a nutritionist, doing my first year of high school from home, doing everything from home really. I couldn't even go for a walk in case I passed out from exerting myself. The feelings of me ruining my life persisted, but finally I had thought that I wanted to fix my mistake. And after months of going to therapy, something shifted. I began feeling like maybe I could trust someone, that maybe they understood me more than I gave them credit for, and eventually I started feeling better after my appointments instead of worse. I still didn't allow for people to even hint at things like vulnerability. I really wanted to be strong, but it felt good to go and talk to someone in a place that felt safe. At one point, I joined in on a few therapy groups, and it was amazing to meet other girls that could understand what I was going through. It was really quite helpful to speak just with a group of them and everything. And I think the first group that I ever joined was the one that really had the most incredible impact on me, and I know I will never forget any of them. Eventually, after a good 2 years of constant appointments, I took a break. And I had finished high school and was moving off to college, and I was doing pretty good if I do say so myself. And then I crashed and burned like you wouldn't believe. And I won't go into details, but my first semester of college was almost my last. I dropped out and didn't know if I would ever go back. And in the end, what I really needed to do was talk to someone, and I'm incredibly lucky that I could. It made all the difference. And there were times, especially over the last 3 years, where I really wanted nothing more than to disappear. And if I had continued to bottle everything up, I'm almost certain that I would have. Without therapy, I wouldn't be alive today, and I was only able to get the help I needed because of the subsidy. This foundation saved my life, and I know that it will save many more in the future. And before I go, I just wanted to say that it was an honor to stand before you and speak today, and I wish all of you the best, and thank you and have a good afternoon.